And we're back. My dad's dog is gone, so I should be able to get into a more normal recording schedule. My head's in a spin all through Mutou's class. I'm gonna have dinner with Emmy, who wants to be my girlfriend, no less. A date. And then she kissed me. That kiss, I keep going back to it, playing it over in my mind again and again. Everything about that moment felt so right. My mind drifts off, lost in thoughts of Emmy. Nikai, hello. Seems like I've drifted a bit too far. What? Egad, you've contracted some kind of amnesia. Someone get the nurse. The class chuckles at Mutou's antics. Oh, sorry, sir. Won't happen again and all that, right? Exactly. Mutou brightens considerably. Well, lovely to hear. I need to have my star pupil slacking off, after all. I've been doing well, but I hardly qualify as a star pupil, I think. Fairly certain that this class is the sort that everyone does well in, it's just memorizing formulas. True to my word, I managed to pay attention for the rest of the class. Nikai, may I have a word with you? Wonder if I'm in trouble for earlier. Sure. Am I in trouble? Mutou looks genuinely confused for a moment. Beg your pardon? Tilts his head to one side and thinks for a moment. Oh, that. No, you're not in any sort of trouble. There's just a question I want to ask you. What's that? Nothing terrible. I was just wondering what your plans for after graduation are. This again. Are you going to university? Yeah, I guess. I can't really see a reason not to go. Given any thought to what you'll study? Not really, no. I figure I'll come up with something when I get there. Mutou laughs, taking things as they come, huh? I'd argue against it, but that's how I did things when I went to university. Well, not really. I knew I'd go into a science, just wasn't sure which one. I ended up with physics, but could just as well have gone for astronomy or what have you. Actually, I did go for chemistry first, but there were all sorts of things. Mutou trails off and frowns slightly. Takes a minute for him to recover his train of thought, and I wait patiently for him to continue. So anyway, I did a lot of physics as well, because I'm interested in that, but I wasn't sure if it was for me. So I went back to chemistry, and here we are, yes? He smiles at me enthusiastically, as if waiting for me to confirm that, yes? Here is where we are. Wait a minute. Here is where we are? I think that should be where, not where. Somehow I get the feeling that Mutou had a plan for this conversation, but I'll be damned if I can figure it out. I'm sorry, I'm not following you. Mutou frowns and rubs his chin a bit, looking perplexed. He then snaps his fingers as if he remembered what the point of this all was. Right, yes, you. Me? Yes, you should look into studying one of those sciences. You're fantastic at it. Unless you'd rather just go into math. Mutou makes a sour face. Not a big fan of straight math, I always like the experiments more than the proofs. You're saying I should study science at university. Mutou seems thrown off balance by my question. Well, sort of. You could also join the science club. Trouble is, there's not actually a science club. But there could be. You could even be a charter member. A founding father. Of course you'd need to find other members. Well, only if you wanted to. We could just start it up with the two of us. And, I could give you things to read and we could talk about them. And, I could help you get ready for university and such as well. Wait. Mutou rummages around in his briefcase and tosses me a book. Read that. If it's interesting, then we can talk about it. A Brief History of Time. I don't know if I actually want to read this, but Mutou seems pretty excited about it. What's it about? Time, space, space-time, black holes and such. It's not that dense, just to see if that sort of thing's interesting for you, you understand? Oh, damn. Hang around after class and we can either discuss it or I can show you how to make explosives in the lab. He waves a hand at my quizzical expression. Joking, sorry. Still, I've kept you here long enough for now. Think about science as a career path, Nikai. I think you'll enjoy it. Okay, I will. Thank you for the book. I leave class and look up at the clock. Quite a chunk of time to kill until Emmy's out of practice. Guess I'll give this book a look. I should probably shower as well. Showering before a date's only proper, right? Head back to the dorms. I wonder where I'm supposed to meet Emmy anyway. She said after practice, but she didn't say where I should find her. I guess I can just swing by the track. That's probably best anyway. If she needs a shower, I could just wait for her in her room or something. Or in the hallway, I guess. That would be better as well. I'll take a quick shower, remembering to take my medication once I hop out. Now for a look at this book. He's gonna get engrossed into it and miss the date, ain't he? I wake with a start. Ah, shit, what time is it? Glance at the clock reveals that I've been asleep for nearly an hour. Oh, thank goodness. Emmy's practice should be finishing up soon. Throw on some casual clothes and head for the track. No, he didn't. Somehow I get the feeling we won't be doing anything fancy for dinner. Emmy doesn't strike me as a very fancy sort of person. Still, I suppose there's a lot I have yet to know about Emmy. Despite our newfound closeness, I still feel like I don't know her as well as I should. Well, I have lots of time to fix that. To be honest, I'm looking forward to getting to know her more. I'm so caught up in my own thoughts that I hardly register that I'm already at the track. Emmy is nowhere to be found. I don't even see any signs of the track team. This could be embarrassing. I turn to head towards the girls' dormitory when I hear a shout. Hey, Zhao. I turn around and see Emmy making a beeline for me with a gym bag slung over her shoulder. She's changed into some decidedly more casual clothing, a pair of shorts and an olive green top. Her running blades have been replaced by more realistic-looking legs that probably wouldn't fool anyone. Emmy doesn't seem to care about that, a fact which makes me smile. Hey, you came. I mean, I figured you would, but still. Suddenly find myself wrapped in a rather affectionate hug, and it proves to be impossible for me to keep what must be the world's largest grin off my face. Well, of course I came. I'd be crazy not to, right? Emmy ponders for a moment. You know, that's true. I mean, I'm pretty amazing after all. I shrug in response. I certainly think so. It's an offhand remark, which is why I'm surprised to see that it seems to have caught Emmy by surprise. She blushes and smiles warmly at me before planting a kiss on my lips. Now it's my turn to be surprised. Emmy steps back, resting her weight on her back heel, looking pleased with herself. Brayden fumbles for an appropriate response. I should compliment you more often. Emmy laughs and gives me a playful shove. Jerk. I throw an arm around Emmy's shoulders, and I'm pleased when she immediately leans into me as if it were the most natural thing in the world. So, where to? I'm not actually sure. Where do people go on dates around here anyway? That's a damn good question. I've got no idea. Why don't we just head down to the Aura Mart and grab something portable? Emmy's face brightens at this idea. A picnic. I think you're onto something, Zhao. Yeah, man, let's go to 7-Eleven and pick up some stuff. That's our date. Emmy snakes her arm around my waist and we begin to head to the further front gate. I'm entirely unsure of what I meant to do in this situation, but at least Emmy seems to be equally clueless. Despite the relaxing feeling of being with Emmy, I still can't help feeling a little tense. What if I do something wrong? I hate to make an ass out of myself. Yeah, 7-Eleven. The trip to the Aura Mart is accompanied by Emmy's chatter about how practice went. I keep quiet for most part, merely enjoying the warmth of being around Emmy. We get a few odd looks from passerby, but I don't mind. We wind up buying some bread and instant noodles, realizing too late that we cannot actually cook the latter in the park. Oh well, I'll make it for lunch or something. That'll work. The park is located after a brief loss of direction that I blame entirely on Emmy. She, of course, blames me. We find a spot beneath a tree and sit down, and I lean back against the trunk. Emmy sits across from me. I guess we should have brought a blanket or something to sit on, huh? Emmy shrugs. I don't mind. Neither do I. And he tosses me a package of bread, and we dig in. Curry bread. Interesting. Guess I wasn't really paying attention to what I grabbed at the store. Hey Zhao, you look like your bread's a little spicy. I shake my head, trying in vain to keep an image of manliness. No, it's hardly spicy at all. I see. That must be why your face has gotten so red. Yes, exactly. The lack of spice has gotten my blood up. Because of the disappointment. Emmy laughs and swallows the last of her bread. Well, if you can't handle it, I'll be glad to take it off your hands. Just because you wolfed down yours so quick doesn't mean I'm just going to give you mine. Emmy mock pouts, causing me to nearly choke on my bread with laughter. Aw, come on, Zhao. Aren't you supposed to be concerned with making sure I've got enough to eat now? We're dating, you know. Though, Emmy looks troubled all of a sudden. I can't say I feel any different. What do you mean by that? What makes this a date? Just what we would have done anyway, really. This should feel different before when we had a lunch with our... once we were friends, and now we're a level above friends. You sound like Ren. Laughter escapes and Emmy grins. Well, she might have put the thought into my mind. We talked about that sort of thing before. Really? About me? Not really, just stuff, really. Ren thinks that the change of label from friend to girlfriend seems arbitrary most of the time. Like there's no difference between the two. I can think of at least one, you know. You don't tend to kiss your friends quite as much. For the second time, Emmy blushes slightly and giggles. I suppose you're right. Exactly, I'm always right about things like this. Emmy rolls her eyes and chuckles. Guess you're pretty smart, huh? I nod in agreement. Yep. Even Mutou thinks that, so he thinks I should go into some scientific study after graduation. Emmy raises an eyebrow. Oh, really? I'm thinking I might actually do just that. Really, the more I consider the idea, the more it appeals to me. I'll make a mental note to look into it a little more closely. So what are you thinking of doing after graduation? Still planning on running? Emmy shrugs, seeming almost a bit hesitant. I don't know if I'm good enough and I can find a team, I guess. You mean you aren't sure? I haven't really thought about it, to be honest. Really. Probably should, you know, graduation isn't that far off. Emmy fidgets a little nervously. Yeah, well, it's far enough, right? Besides, I've got other things to think about. There's a mischievous flash behind Emmy's eyes, and I suddenly find myself gloriously pinned against a tree. Like making sure this is a real date, right? And if we don't kiss, then it's not a date at all, right? I suppose strawberries and curry, not the best combination, but I don't think I mind. Emmy sits back on my legs and grins again. There, science would approve, right? You have the oddest mental image of Mutou nodding seriously and making a mark on some checklist. Can't help laughing at the idea. Well, I'll admit, this is the first time I've ever witnessed a kiss met with laughter before. Should I feel offended? No. I'm sure science approves. Emmy beams at me, and I find it incredibly difficult to keep my brain functioning properly. Oh, good. It is at this point I notice that Emmy has stolen the remainder of my curry bread while I was otherwise occupied with images of teachers wielding clipboards. Hey. Emmy tries to look innocent, but considering she's just cramming last bits of my bread into her mouth, it does not appear to be working. For he couldn't resist. Thief. A shrug from my companion is all I get in response. You used your feminine wiles on me. I wasn't that hungry anyway, but I still feel the point needs to be made. Emmy seems confused by the phrase feminine wiles, but the understanding dawns on her features after a moment's thought. It wasn't anything of the sort. You were laughing. Feminine wiles don't involve laughing. I guess I can't argue with this. That doesn't change your thievery. Emmy laughs at my injured tone and gives me a playful shove. Fine, you can have the instant noodles. Are you kidding? That stuff's terrible. If anything, you should definitely eat it as punishment. Another laugh from the girl sitting on my legs, both of which have fallen asleep by now. I twitch one leg to try waking it up, which has the unintended effect of unbalancing Emmy, who falls to the side with a startled heap. Sorry about that. Legs fell asleep on me, and he remains on the ground giggling. Stand up a little shakily, feeling the nerves in my legs return to normal. My eyes wander over the scenery before fixing on the figure of Emmy, who has yet to get up. Her hair is splayed out around her head, her arms are spread, and laughter is bubbling up through her mouth. Everything about Emmy seems condensed into this one image. Her energy, her spirit, her childish giggling. The urge to lay down in the grass with her rises swiftly from the back of my mind to the forefront of my thoughts, and indeed I am convinced that I would love nothing more than just do that. Unfortunately, the sun has set, and it is probably time for us to get back to the dormitories. While Emmy may be happy to stay out here all night, I don't think I have that ability. Besides, homework soon beckons. It wouldn't make sense to start thinking about things like university and then slack off, would it? I extend a hand to Emmy to help her up. We should probably get going. Emmy makes a sour face. You're right. She grabs my proffered hand, and I pull her to her feet into a hug. This time I'm the one who kisses her, unable to resist having Emmy against me. Seems a shame to leave, you know. Yeah, it does. But if we don't get back to school soon, we'll probably get into trouble. Emmy pokes me in the ribs playfully. You need to do your homework, I'm sure. Sadly, you're absolutely right. Throw my arm around her shoulders, and we make the trek back to the school, accompanied by occasional bouts of laughter as our conversations jump from subject to subject. Everything from running to school to the peculiar way that one of the cafeteria workers smells. This is such a happy route so far. All too soon we find ourselves outside the girls' dormitory building. Well, I guess I'll be going then. I guess so, huh? Emmy grins at me again with that mischievous look. Are you gonna be able to survive without me? I laugh. I'm sure I'll manage. How terrible, aren't you supposed to say something like, I'll be counting the seconds you're away? Nope, don't think so. Emmy pulls me down into a quick goodbye kiss and steps back, looking unexpectedly shy. Thanks for dinner. I really had fun. Honestly, I did. So did I. I think we shall have to do it again sometimes. Emmy laughs at my deadpan delivery and nods. See you bright and early tomorrow morning, right? You've got to run off that bread after all. Of course, despite the fact that you ate most of it. Yes, despite that. See you later, Rizzo. As Emmy turns to head inside, I notice something weird. Something so weird that I'm surprised I didn't notice it earlier. She's limping slightly, favoring the left leg. Hey, Emmy. Is your leg okay? Emmy looks confused, or at least makes fake confusion. What are you talking about? Your right leg, you're limping. There's the briefest flash of concern on Emmy's face. Either she didn't want me to know, or she didn't think I'd notice, or I prefer to think she just didn't realize it. Oh, that. She shrugs casually. Must have gotten knocked a little out of alignment during the picnic. No idea what would have caused that, of course. I think back to being pinned under the tree. Should have told me. We could have stopped and fixed it, you know? Emmy waves a hand airily. Nah, it's not that big a deal. Don't worry about it, okay, Izzo? It's fine. I don't get the feeling that she's convincing herself as well as me. Alright, well, I actually have no idea what to go with this one. I'm just gonna keep going. Are you absolutely sure? You don't want to go ahead and just adjust it before heading up the stairs? You can get hurt if you don't, right? I said it was fine, Azao. Seriously, don't worry about it. I got some experience in these matters, after all. Yeah, I suppose so. Amy grins reassuringly. Honestly, Azao, I appreciate the concern, but I really am okay. Now, really, I need to get going. Your attempts to keep me around are doomed to fail. Of course. Just prolonging the goodbye, I suppose. Another grin lights up Emmy's face. Good night, Azao. Good night. As she limps inside, I find myself hoping she's okay, despite her assurances that she's fine. I think I can call this a successful first date. Hell, any day that ends with Emmy pinning me under a tree to kiss me can't be that bad, can it? I head back to my room, mentally thank the gods that Kenji doesn't ambush me in the hallway, and get started on my homework. The morning is far too early for my taste. It doesn't help that I had trouble sleeping last night. There are simply too many things to think about. My mind refused to slow down. Instead, I replayed the rooftop, the park, and everything else over and over in my mind. There's a small part of my mind that's still paranoid that this has all been some kind of joke, that I'll meet up with Emmy at the track and she'll act like nothing happened yesterday. Pushing these thoughts to the back of my mind, I throw on my running clothes and open the door. Amy's waiting for me with her usual smile. You're late. Or at least you're not early today. Are you tired or something? I found myself ruefully rubbing the back of my head. Yeah, something like that, yeah. Lots to think about and all that. Amy giggles on my mild understatement. Yeah, I didn't sleep that well either. I was actually glad you weren't early, because I wasn't early either. Wonder if the same thing kept us awake. The image of her weeping face suddenly passed through my mind. What kept you up? Emmy's expression falters, but she quickly notices my curiosity and forces a smile. Nothing important. She's obviously not telling me something. The question is, well, should I press the issue? Something's clearly been bothering her for a while. I want to help her, but would it just come off as me being nosy? Just gotta know I care about her, though. Are you sure? If something's bothering you, I'm here to help you sort it out. Emmy laughs. Laughs then, but it's not her usual laugh. There's an edge to it that almost seems better. Sorted out? I'm not sure it can be sorted out, Azao. An almost grim smile crosses her lips. It's a smell of resignation. I don't think you could help me anyway. Well, that hurts. I don't want to say that it hurts to her, but it does. Doesn't she realize I want to be there for her when things go wrong? Well, I won't push you on the matter. But I'm here for you if you decide later that you'd like to talk about it. It might help. I can see a debate raging behind Emmy's eyes. Seems like she wants to tell me, but she's not sure whether or not she can. Forget about it for now, okay? We got running to do. Mention her running something that she can handle. Emmy brings Emmy back to her casual self. Right. Hurry up and stretch out, Azao. We've got to get moving. She takes off like a shot, far quicker than I'm used to. Still, I try to keep pace with her, recklessly testing my limits. Gives me a feeling of freedom, like my heart is no longer important. I found myself wanting to laugh, filled with the feeling of moving beyond what I once called my boundaries. The nurse's warnings to not overdo things echo in my mind, and I disregard them. This feeling I have, this willingness to risk a heart attack for something that's so trivial as a morning run, feels out of character for me. But is it? Or rather, should it be? I got a weak heart, sure, but it'll never be capable of the kind of speed and endurance Emmy's capable of, though I probably wouldn't be able to get that good even if I had a healthy heart. As we round the final bend, I feel my legs screaming in protest, but for the first time I ignore them. I accelerate to finish at a sprint, nearly catching up to Emmy. That was never going to happen, of course. Still, I feel surprisingly good. I'm sure my legs feel like they're about to catch fire, and I'm having trouble staying upright, but there's been a shift of some sort today. Still thanks to the girl grinning at me at the finish line waiting for me. I felt a little faster than usual. Oh boy, I felt a little faster than usual. The comment is met with a grin and a shrug. Can't have you think I was going to go soft on you, can I? But you managed to handle it just fine. Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Still feeling the high from run and moved by a surge of gratitude, I seize Emmy in a hug. Thanks. Really, I'm not just saying that. I'm in your debt. Emmy seems flustered by my words, squirming uncomfortably. Don't be silly, Azao. Someone had to haul you out here, didn't they? It's not like you're not doing anything for me, right? I need a running partner, remember? I shook my head, still pointedly not letting go of Emmy, who stops squirming and merely looks up at me with a quickly deepening blush that almost seems out of character. No, that's not true. You want a running partner, but you didn't need one. If I hadn't shown up the day after the festival, you would still run, right? It doesn't work the other way around. I only managed to make it out a few times before the festival. Without you, I probably wouldn't have made it out at all after that. Emmy smiles at me and prods my chest with one finger. You are pretty lazy, Azao. Yeah, I was giving you a compliment. Well, you're welcome, I guess. I'll pay you back somehow. Oh, well, that's not much necessary, you know. I mean, I kind of like you, Azao. Being able to run with you in the mornings isn't exactly a bad deal for me either, so... For someone who gets so much praise, she seems unused to gratitude. I can't think of anything else to say, so we fall silent. I become aware of Emmy's breathing, of the dampness of her clothing, and of the scent of her. Why do you always... Coming off anyone else, it would stink. Coming off Emmy, it fits her in a way nothing else could. Like, why do you always bring up how she smells? Why? Her skin is cool, slick with sweat, and a breeze causes goosebumps to rise. Almost without thinking about it, I lean down and meet Emmy's mouth, which has already moved to meet my own. Her lips are soft, and she hums happily as we kiss, sending vibrations from her mouth to mine. There's a startling rightness to everything about this moment. We fit one another perfectly. The kiss ends, and I finally let my arms drop back to my sides. Emmy is smiling warmly at me and giggles again. Come on, Azao, we better go see the nurse. Then it happens. As she turns to begin walking, she gives out a tiny yelp and stumbles forward. Emmy. I leap to steady her and notice with some concern that she's favoring the same leg as last night. Your leg. Emmy seems panicked and pushes away from me. It's fine. My expression must seem hurt because she hastens to apologize. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to push you like that. I was just... She stumbles for something to say. It's nothing, really. Hey, don't worry about it. She's so flustered I decided to shrug the whole thing off. But there's a cold feeling in the pit of my stomach now that won't go away. I tried to step in and help her, and she pushed me away. Smiling, I shoved those thoughts in the back of my mind and concentrated on Emmy. I just don't want you getting hurt, that's all. You don't have to worry about me, honest. I'm fine. Yes, you say that, but I don't believe you. Why won't you tell me what's wrong? It's like she gets offended by my trying to help. What am I supposed to make of that? I'm still trying to sort out what happened on the track. As we arrive in front of the nurse's office, Emmy raises her hand to knock, hesitates, and turns to me smiling guiltily. Hey, can you do me a favor? Of course. Can you tell the nurse that I'll see him later? I just remembered I got some stuff to take care of before class, so I really need to get moving. I peer at her closely, and she fidgets under my stare. Yep, she's clearly just avoiding a nurse. That leg of hers. Well, whatever, I said I'd help, and so I will. But I'll make damn sure she sees the nurse before the day's out. Yeah, okay, I'll let him out. No. Emmy looks like I'd just given her a pony on Christmas. Thank you so much. You're the best, Azao. I reward her for my complicity in her lie by a kiss that makes it all worth it, so I tell myself. As Emmy heads out of the building, trying hard not to let her limp show, I knock on the door of the office. Azao coming in. I don't see Emmy with you. She's not sick again, is she? From the tone of his voice, I don't think the nurse is expecting me to say yes, she's ill. She said that she'd forgotten to do something, and so she had to skip out, but she'll see you later today. The nurse heaves an exasperated sigh. Honestly, that girl. She's been avoiding me. Yesterday she was in and out of here without even taking off her prosthetics, and now this. Well, it's not just me Emmy doesn't want worrying. That's a comfort, I guess. Still, I feel like I should say something about her leg. I say I'd lie for her, but she really needs to see him. Now that you mention it, she was limping pretty badly today. And last night as well. The nurse's eyes narrow at the words last night. What exactly were you two doing last night? We were on a date. The nurse raises his eyebrows as if surprised. Really interesting. Huh? Oh, nothing. His gaze turns thoughtful, and then he grins at me. You don't think you could use some of that boyfriend charm to get her to come see me today, could you? Of course. I was planning on doing that anyway. I think she's really hurt and just pretending she isn't. Yes, she does that. I'm afraid I'll make her stop running. Will you? I don't like to, but if it's bad enough that she's been limping, well, I guess I'll have to see what's wrong for myself before I can make that call. Let's see. Emmy, not allowed to run. Perish the thought. I don't know if she'd be able to function without running. No wonder she's reluctant to admit anything's wrong. Well, I'll make sure she sees you. Good, Ellen, before I forget. He grins at me again in what feels like a vaguely threatening manner. Don't forget I know what medications you're on. You be careful around Emmy, got it? Well, you look serious too. Yeah, got it. Don't hurt Emmy, wouldn't dream of it. Grand. I'd hate for you to be late. Huh? Late as in the late Hizao Nakai. He frowns briefly, dissatisfied. Sounded better in my head. Well, at any rate, get out of here before you miss your first class. You got things to do, I'm sure. Shoo. As I leave, I notice the nurse pulling out his phone and dialing a number. Mako, your daughter's being a pain in the ass again. I'd better head back to my room or I really will be late. Hey, wasn't he supposed to check my heart rate? Alright, well, I'm gonna take a drink. The lunch bell sounds, and I bring myself out of the stupor I slipped into during the morning's class. My lack of sleep last night, coupled with the increased pace of the morning's run, has left me a little exhausted. Despite that, I find myself skipping stairs up to the roof. There's a thrill of excitement now, in addition to the pleasure one gets from eating lunch with one's friends. True, both Emmy and Rin are still my friends, but Emmy has become more than the two. Rin is back in her usual spot on the roof, almost as if she'd never been absent. Feeling better, I take it? A raised eyebrow is my reward for speaking. Better than what? Better than you felt yesterday. Rin gives my question some serious thought. I'm not sure. I think I might have felt rather good for some of yesterday, but it's all fuzzy. Too much cold medicine. Well, I was asleep, and that usually is pretty good. But I can't remember what it feels like to be asleep because I'm not conscious for it. It's a real problem. Then again, if I knew how good it felt, I might not sleep anymore. But this way I keep trying, so I guess that's how I can keep from being overtired. An eternal mystery to keep you sleeping at night. Maybe mystery is the wrong word. Intangibility might be the proper way to describe it. Might see. Nope, I don't see it at all. I have no idea what she's talking about, but that's okay, since I really do. Do you remember what sleeping feels like? Like yesterday, do you remember what you felt like sleeping yesterday? Well, actually, I didn't get a lot of sleep yesterday. Maybe that's because you remember subconsciously. Actually, I think I was worrying about Emmy. Doesn't Emmy worry enough about herself? Hadn't considered that, but it gives me pause. True, but would she ask for help if she needed it? Rin frowns, and I raise an eyebrow. Will I get a proper answer? Probably not. There's something she should be asking for help with. Her leg, for starters. It seems to catch Rin's interest. Leg? It's hurt, but she won't see the nurse about it. Rin shakes her head in disapproval. Yeah, you have to make her. Like she makes me go to class for her own good. Otherwise she could lose her legs again, and that's just too weird. Losing things twice. Especially if you don't find them again to begin with. Unless prosthetics are the same as finding something. That's a different kind of loss, isn't it? I think so. I wonder. Wonder what? Emmy seems to have snuck up on the roof while Rin and I, though Rin doesn't seem especially surprised, which is in itself unsurprising, I suppose. Rin manages to sit upright quite expertly, throwing her upper body forward and using her momentum to right herself. You're like, how's it feel? That earns me a frown and a bit of a glare. It's okay, I think. Not worth worrying about. Tell that to the nurse. He's quite insistent that you visit him, you know. Emmy pouts like I just told her she's been grounded. He worries too much. It's not a big deal, it's just a little soreness. I try to resist rolling my eyes in exasperation. If it's nothing, then you should have no problem seeing him, right? Emmy narrows her eyes suspiciously. Did he put you up to this? Well, maybe a little. But that's not the point. I would have reminded you to see him anyway. It would be terrible to see you hurt and not doing anything about it. That would make it worse, and I don't really want to see you hurt, you know. Call me crazy, but I kinda would prefer to see you happy and healthy. With each statement, Emmy's frown fades a little more until eventually she's grinning, albeit a little shyly. Well, if you're gonna put it that way, then I guess I'll have to see him. Otherwise, you'll keep worrying, and then I'll never hear the end of it, right? That's right, I'll keep bugging you about it, and that might put a damper on our dates. How's the food? Is out? Talk to the nurse, Emmy. How's your day? Is out? Talk to the nurse, Emmy. So I think I'm ready to go talk to the nurse, Emmy. See, it doesn't work that well. Emmy giggles at my high-pitched rendition of her own voice and gives me an affectionate shove. My voice isn't that high, jerk. I thought it was pretty accurate. Emmy and I stare at Rin for a while before I burst into laughter. Emmy crosses her arms and huffs, mock offended. You're both jerks. Such a vile calumnies from you, young woman. I'm stunned that you would call me, of all people, a jerk. Honestly, I just don't know what to think. Emmy sticks her tongue out at me. You ass. So Rin, how's the art club these days? Rin, seemingly as surprised with this sudden change of topic as I am, takes a minute to think before answering. I believe it is okay. Although Nomiya keeps telling me to work harder. But I don't think he understands my methods. He always struck me as slightly creepy. Rin ponders this statement for a while. I've never really noticed. Yeah, he kinda does seem creepy. But I don't pay much attention to him most days, so maybe that's why. How often do you meet? Thinking of joining us out? Huh? Nah, I've already decided to join a club. Really, which one? Well, it's not really much of a club, to be honest. Oh, you joined the tea club. No, I joined the science club, I think. Amy looks highly confused. We have a science club? But not really, it's just me. Zao, that's not a club. That's sitting in your room reading books. No, I mean, it's just me and Mutou. I'm just the only student so far. Mutou, really? A thought strikes her. Oh, this is what you were talking about yesterday, your meeting with Mutou. Yep, that was our first meeting, I guess. Amy giggles. Nerd. Yeah, I can't help being clever. You know, I could have used your help years ago. You should have had your heart attack earlier in life, Zao. I laugh and then realize this is probably one of the very rare times I've laughed about my heart attack. Hindsight. Yeah, the ring of the bell ends our conversation. Did you even eat anything? Guess we'd better go. Yeah, guess so. Come on, Ren, you too. Ren has apparently begun to doze off, so Emmy gives her a sharp bump. Oh, I almost had it. Sorry, but you need to go to class. I disagree, but maybe if I nap in class, I'll get it this time. Changing location is sometimes helpful for that kind of thing. Neither Emmy or I bother asking what it is. As we arrive in my classroom, Emmy gives me a quick kiss and heads down the hallway, Rin in tow. I turn to enter the classroom to be met by the duo Shizune and Misha. Misha seems to be fighting a losing battle to keep from breaking into a fit of giggles while she translates Shizune's latest rant. While we are pleased and thrilled to see how well you've managed to make new friends and forge relationships, and with such a cutie too, Ichan. I think that last part was probably Misha. We nevertheless feel compelled to politely remind you that public displays of affection are strictly forbidden. Okay, really? That's disappointing, Shi-chan, by Section 8 of the School of the Code of Conduct laid out in the student handbook. In this case, however, ignorance of the law may be your excuse, as we are feeling lenient. And the paperwork required to punish the both of you would only add to the already mountainous volumes of work which confronts us as sole members of the student council, and besides, you two are adorable together. Therefore, consider this a formal warning, and please refrain from such displays in the future, at least when Shizune can see you, Hichan. This whole spiel is so patently ridiculous that I can't help but reply in the same pompous manner. Well, I for one feel enlightened. I apologize profusely for my rash actions, and will strive to contain my baser impulses which, I fear, impel me towards such inappropriate displays of public affection. It is hardly my wish to burden an already overstirred council with such petty matters, and will do my best to make your lives easier in this matter in the future, at least when Shizune is watching. This last line is delivered with a wink to Misha, who finally loses control of her laughter. Well said, Hichan. Chuckling a little myself, we enter the classroom. Class is uneventful, and after the final bell rings, I find myself alone with Mutou again. So it looks like we all assemble for the second meeting of the science club. Or is it the first? What do you think? Should we count yesterday as a meeting? Well, we did form the club yesterday, didn't we? That seems like club business, so we can safely call yesterday a meeting. Mutou smiles in his usual stilted and awkward way. Wonder if the muscles in his face are just not shaped correctly to let him smile naturally. You really do have a knack for this, I think. Logical thought processes, that is? I guess so. A scientist speaks with authority, Zao. The answer here is, yes, I do. When the world wants to know how it works, we tell it, even if all we got is a decent hypothesis. But we must sound certain anyway, because we're the authorities of the subject, right? He chuckles to go along with his awkward smile at his awkward joke. I'm doing my best not to grimace, but I don't think I'm being too successful. That's entirely false, of course. We know a lot, sure, but nobody's an expert on how the world works, if only because nobody can be sure. With no certainty, there are no experts. But we'd like to pretend sometimes. And there's some things we can be certain of, right? Yes, but no. We know gravity's there, for example. To illustrate, Mutou picks up a pencil and drops it. See? Still there, but it's good to check every once in a while. That's why you'll still see researchers mucking about with gravity. We're pretty sure we know how it works, but there's always a chance that something isn't how we think it is. So you check and check and check. That's science in a nutshell, Hizzo. The whole time I've listened, feeling rather spellbound. Mutou really seems to be passionate about this stuff, I think. It's hard to tell sometimes. How the world works. Whoops. How humans work. How the universe works. All these questions to be answered. And depending on what I go into, maybe I could even figure out a way to fix my heart. That said, I don't think that's a real priority for me. Besides, as we start discussing the book you gave me yesterday, I find myself more and more interested in that than my heart condition. Yeah, science is pretty neat. Before we even realize it, an hour's gone by. Well, let's call this meeting over for now, okay? We'll have another meeting tomorrow, or the day after. He considers this for a moment. Call it the day after. I've got a lot of grading to do. Alright, see you then. As I exit the classroom, I realize I don't really have anything to do tonight. Emmy and I didn't make plans, so I guess I'll go to the library. It beats doing homework in my room anyway. The library always seems cooler than the rest of the building, probably to keep the books from getting damaged by excessive heat and humidity. Books are sturdy objects, but if you keep them in good condition, it takes a little effort. I've got several books that are so well worn the pages are barely clinging to the spine. It seems impossible for them to still be usable, but if you handle them with care. I make my way to the main desk where I spot Yuko busying herself with something or another. She smiles at me as I enter and waves. Hello, Isao. Good to see you again. What are you looking for this time? Nothing in particular. I guess I just didn't really feel like going back to my room, is all. Yuko nods. Well, if you're unoccupied, maybe you could help me look for something. Sure, what do you need? Yuko brings a finger to her lips and looks around furtively. She seems to be looking for eavesdroppers. Come closer. I take a few hesitant steps forward while feeling distinctly unnerved. Yuko lowers her voice to a confidential whisper. I'm on the trial of the Yamaku cat burglary. The what? Shh, the walls have ears, Isao. Or they might. But listen, those missing books, remember them? Yeah. Well, they weren't missing, they were stolen. I'm convinced of it. I remember you saying something of the sort earlier, but how do you know? Yuko leans in closer and, if possible, whispers even lower. Because I found one of his hiding places. You did what? Yuko looks triumphant. Found one of his stashes. It was under one of the stairwells in the boys' dorm. 3 books I've been looking for, all there. I suspected a thief before, but this proves it. So did you take back the books? Yuko looks as if I just suggested she walk around naked. Are you nuts? You can't know him onto him. He might go to ground and evade capture. So what do you need my help with then? Yuko casts another glance around the library and leans in closer. You got a spy for me. Spy? Yeah, like when you're in the dorms, you know? Keep an eye out for suspicious activity. What constitutes suspicious anyway? I mean, Kenji's a pretty suspicious dude, but I'll wager he barely goes to class, much less sneak into the library to pilfer books. Do you not remember that he had that book? Still, what's the harm in saying yes? At least it'll get me out of this weird conversation. Yeah, I can do that, no problem. Yuko straightens up and claps excitedly. Great. Now hurry up and talk about something else in case someone else comes in. How's the school treating you? Yeah, pretty well, actually. I've been running in the mornings with Emi Ibarazaki, right? Yeah. How'd you know? I served you two in the tea house, remember? How did he say if you were going to run with anyone, it would probably be her? She looks pleased with herself. Impressive. Anyway, yes, we've been running in the mornings. And, we kind of started dating. Yuko claps her hands together excitedly. Really, that's great. I bet you two are great together. I love seeing people find one another like that, you know? I even thought to myself when you two walked into Shanghai that one time, I wonder if that kid will wind up with one of those girls. Really? Yuko doesn't seem to notice my somewhat weirded out tone and nods affirmatively. Yep, I could tell you'd wind up with one of them, you know? I got an eye for that sort of thing. Of course. Her expression droops slightly. I'm not so good at it myself. I'm sure that's not true. Oh, it's true. I met this guy once. We got along really great, but it turned out he was younger than me. And that was kind of weird, but not terribly so. What was really weird was that he disappeared one day and I've not seen him since then. No, that does seem kind of odd. Does it? I hope it wasn't something I did. I feel compelled to reassure her. I'm sure it wasn't. I intend to try and calm her down further, but both of us jump in surprise at the ring suddenly coming from my pocket. Yuko sighs, steady yourself as I pull the phone from my pocket. I feel a little sheepish for indirectly causing the incident. Emmy, what's up? Oh, thank God I haven't called your phone before, so I didn't know if this number would work or whether you would pick up, and I can't. Whoa there, Emmy, slow down. What's wrong? There's a pause on the other side of a long line during which I can hear Emmy trying to control her breathing in order to calm down. Something's got her terribly agitated and it's starting to agitate me. Can you stop by? Like now or shortly after now? I really need to talk to you. There's a tone of pleading in the last sentence that I don't think I've ever heard from her. But of course I'll be right there. Hold steady, okay? In my increasingly agitated state, I've apparently started saying things that don't quite make sense. Okay, I'll be okay. See you soon. I press the button to end the call before slipping the phone back into my pocket. I apologize to Yuko for running off and run off. I like Yuko. She's cute. You know what? I think I'm just gonna end it here. What's this happy music for? This doesn't seem like music suit in this situation at all. But anyway, that's all for now. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.